What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for the Manchester City versus Rotherham analysis of the FA Cup third round match. So we're going to crack on with this video. So we're going to start off with the talking points, and first up, City ended up going with a very strong side in this. I'm not too sure. I agreed with a couple of the players that were starting. I know the first bit was Leroy Sane ended up being on the bench. I'd have started him and then had Raheem Sterling come on in the second half. Pep did it the other way around, not got a problem with that. But I'm not too sure why Ederson started in this game and Muric ended up sitting on the bench. Now, if Muric is fit enough to sit on the bench, then he's fit enough to start in this game, because if Ederson picks up an injury in the first minute, then Muric has to be able to do the rest of the 90 minutes. So he's obviously fit enough to be able to do that, and if he's fit enough to be able to do that, he's fit enough to then be able to start in this game. So I'm not too sure why Ederson started in this game. Not got a problem that he did. The only thing I can think of that he has started in this game is that Pep sensed an opportunity here. No offence to Rotherham when I say this, but City fancied themselves of being able to get a clean sheet and therefore giving his defence in front of him confidence and also himself confidence by finally picking up a clean sheet that we've not had in quite a while. So we'll be able to kick on from there. Whether we'll see Muric again in the semi-final on Wednesday against Burton Albion at home, I'm not too sure. That remains to be seen. Now, we ended up going with the defence that I predicted. We ended up going with the midfield that I predicted. We ended up having Kyle Walker starting on the right and Zinchenko on the left in defence. We ended up having Stones and Otamendi, which is what I predicted. Laporte having his rest, and obviously we're expecting to see company. And in the midfield went with Gundogan sitting deeper, Foden ahead of him, and Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne sitting deeper and Foden getting further forward. And then out on the wings, like I said, I was expected to see Sane, but we had Sterling and Mahrez. Then up front, Jesus as expected, but a nice rest on the bench. We didn't have any Aguero or David Silva, so they've got a full rest. I don't have to do anything. So yeah, freshening things up and making plenty of changes. I was expecting that with Rotherham. They've gone with Smith up top as expected. Volk's captaining in the centre of midfield too. Ford, I was also impressed with them and their young centre back. Is it OJG? Is that how you say his name? I don't know how you say his name, but him at the back. He had a very good game too. Thought looked very strong, looked very quick too. I thought he had a good game, but yeah. We'll crack on with the analysis now. So 12 minutes in, Kevin De Bruyne finds space, feeds in Raheem Sterling, twists, turns, goes on to a stronger right foot after selling a kind of dummy and just slots past the Rotherham keeper to make it 1-0 on 12 minutes. That'll do very nicely, and from there, Rotherham on the back foot. It takes up the game plan that they can put 11 men behind the ball, and we have to break them down. It means Rotherham at some point will have to come and play. And they did. Rotherham ended up gaining more confidence because they did. They were going forward. They were making things happen. Players were moving forward. They were putting balls into the box. They were winning free kicks. They were starting getting throw-ins too. They were making things happen. They was making us think. They was making our defenders work hard too. I thought that they were doing well. And they nearly got through to half-time. If it had been half-time at 1-0, that could have been a game changer. Rotherham could have had a nice rest and come out and really gone for it first 10-15 minutes in the first half and see what happens. In the end, that game plan went out the window. Gundogan sitting deep, 43 minutes in, like a deep line playmaker rather than a defensive midfielder, finds a beautiful ball over to Phil Foden, who ran in from deep and ends up getting his, I think it was tried to control it with his right, ended up going onto his left foot. Their keeper came rushing out to try and intercept, and in the end it ended up turning into a attempted control of the ball, ended up turning into a shot, and it ends up rolling under the goalkeeper and into the back of the net, had just enough leg to be able to get over the line and into the back of the net. But they all count, 2-0 up. Phil Foden's first ever goal for Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium in a competitive game. Absolutely brilliant. It's a dream come true for him. A boyhood club for Manchester City. He gets to play for them. He gets to live every young boy's dream, really, of playing for the club that he supported since he was a child. He scored this season in the Carabao Cup away from home, and now he's finally in a competitive game. Got his first home goal too. Absolutely delighted for young Phil there. It gets even better for Manchester City in the 45th plus 1 minute, so 46th minute into added time. Manchester City, absolute rockets on the counter-attack, led by Kyle Walker. Gets in, cuts in, squares the ball across. I think it's Raheem Sterling's waiting just to tap it in. So Ajayi, is that how you say his name? Please let me know in the comments how you say his name. But he tries to intercept. He has to do something. He slides in, and in the end, the ball ends up pinging up off his foot and ends up going into the roof of the net for an own goal. Unlucky, very unlucky that goal, but 3-0, lightning on the counter-attack. And already, just before half-time, like I said, 43 minutes in, it's 1-0. Rotherham gets in at half-time. They've got a chance, they've got a fighting chance, but 3 minutes later, we're 3-0 up. you know, game, set and match, job done. So half-time, 3-0 Manchester City up, all too easy. City were just picking passes everywhere, picking Rotherham apart, deciding what they wanted to do. Some lovely cross-field passes too from Manchester City, but in the end I came to the conclusion that City's midfield in this game far too strong, particularly with Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan leading the way, far too strong for Rotherham to be able to cope with, and they couldn't find enough runners to be able to deal with Manchester City's midfield. The defenders were kind of coping with the attack for the majority of the half, but when Manchester City decided just to turn it on and make things happen, that also the case in the second half, they did, and they really struggled because of it. Rotherham did. They've not got the players to be able to cope with Manchester City, and was on the ball, and we wanted the win today. And it's excellent that we can follow up such a great performance like we did at the Etihad against Liverpool to be able to win that game. That required a lot of legs and fighting spirit. This game required a lot of skill and willingness to do well, and we showed that as well today, and that's why I've won so comfortably. But you know, very impressed with Manchester City today, and Rotherham I didn't think did too bad for themselves in the first half. Just switched off at the vital moments, a couple of mistakes, and all of a sudden you find yourselves with the quality like Man City's got, 3-0 behind. So I just made a little note just at half time. I was wondering if Pep was going to make some changes earlier in the half. We're going to see some debuts, particularly with Sandler. We're going to see De Bruyne go off. We're also going to see Pep start rotating players and try and experiment players in different positions. We didn't really see that. I thought we might have, but we didn't. Anyway, into the second half, 52 minutes in, Sterling with a burst of pace. We were just passing it along and just walking around like we did. Then all of a sudden, Raheem Sterling just injects a bit of pace, gets past the defender, ends up getting to look enough time to look up, square it across. Gabriel Jesus is there to tap it in. Jesus could have had 2 or 3 today, really, with the tap in. He was unlucky with a couple of them, but managed to get this one in. So I was delighted that Jesus managed to get a goal. That'll do his confidence a world of good, and I'm expecting him to start against Burton as well on Wednesday. Then 73 minutes in, some nice 1-2s from Gundogan and Mahrez. Squared on a plate for Mahrez just to drill in nice under the goalkeeper's legs for 5-0. Good for Mahrez to go and get a goal too. Again, I'm expecting him to start, and probably Gundogan too on Wednesday. And then Gundogan is everywhere, gets a hat-trick of assists in 78 minutes. 5 minutes later, corner comes in, Otamendi's there unmarked, poor defending this one. Like I said, when you're 5-0 down, it's hard to be able to concentrate properly. They're not concentrating properly, the Rotherham defenders, and Otamendi's there just to bullet header it in and make it 6-0, and delighted for Otamendi. And again, I expect Otamendi to probably be starting on Wednesday too. Gets capped off this performance. Wonderful. 85th minute. Leroy Sane cuts in, goes onto his weaker right foot, has a shot that deflects. Very unlucky past the goalkeeper and in for 7-0. Rotherham, they feel hard done by. It's Rotherham's heaviest defeat in the FA Cup in their history. And we played very well. And I don't know. I don't really have much else to say, really. Full time saw us win 7-0 into the 4th round, and Guardiola ended up beating Warniola. If you don't get that, their manager's called Warn, his surname, and likes to pass the ball around and compared himself to Pep because he looks like Pep. Wearing that flat cap, a lot of people thought it was Pep, but it weren't, it was Warn. Anyway, Rotherham, they didn't play bad in this game. They did well, particularly in the first half, trying to keep us under control. They were growing in confidence and they were making things happen. They were making us work. I thought Rotherham, very unlucky in this game. They brought 6,000 down to the Etihad. They've had a massive game for them. They were unlucky in the game. They ended up taking a big spanking in the end. But, you know, don't be too down and out about it, where you won't be the first and you won't be the last team to take a hammering at the Etihad. And to be honest, like I said, there's some positives there to be able to get forward. They made things happen. They worked hard. Just unlucky, and it's just one of them things in the end. But best of luck to Rotherham for the rest of the season, and best of safe journeys, and best of luck to all the travelling Rotherham fans there. They've brought over 6,000 down to the Etihad, which is absolutely superb to see. Now for Manchester City, we just like punishing teams. You make mistakes, we will punish, just like any Premier League team will. But we have so much quality there that we're able to put 7 in. And Rotherham, they were just making too many mistakes, allowing us too much space. They was allowing us to connect with our nice passes. They was allowing us to run through the middle. And because they were too busy trying to concentrate on the middle, allowing too much space for our wingers. And basically, we was just having a field day. Walker, Mahrez, Sane, Sterling, even Zinchenko making things happen on the left too. There's just too much space and allowing too many opportunities for us. But we put our chances away. It's a good win. 7 different scorers and scoring 7 different goals. Absolutely brilliant, and you know, it now allows us a lot of confidence going into that match against Burton now on Wednesday, the Carabao Cup semi-final. I'm thinking if we can even just score 3 or 4 goals, I say that like it's nothing, but if we just score 3 or 4 goals against them, that'll kill off that tie, and that'll allow us to have a full rest coming up in a few weeks' time, which could be crucial for the upcoming Premier League season, chasing Liverpool, and if we can win games and going into the Champions League too. So, you know, that win today will do everyone a lot of confidence, and we normally look very disjointed when we go over week inside and make so many changes like we have here. We weren't having any of that, so I'd be quite tempted to keep it near enough the same side for Burton, make 2 or 3 changes in my opinion, but all in all, feel really good about it. Now, we're going to check the stats, see how they compare. So City ended up having just over 70% possession, after Liverpool had more possession than us in the last Premier League game. First team to do that, I think, since Barcelona when we played them a couple of seasons back. Rotherham had just under 30% possession. I've seen teams have worse, honestly, I have. So Rotherham can hold the heads up high there. City, 23 shots, 9 on target, 7 of them have gone in. Perfect, my opinion. Rotherham, 7 shots, 1 on target, so they made Ederson work once. Like I said, I've seen teams not have any shots at Ederson, so they can hold the heads up high there. City, 614 passes, 89% pass completion rate. We want to be getting that up towards 90 to 95, so that's something for our players to be able to work on. There's a couple of loose passes here and there, but I'm nitpicking, I really am. Rotherham, 262 passes at a 69% pass completion rate. Touches in the final third, just 66 for Rotherham and 258 for Manchester City. 22 key passes, 6 clear-cut chances created for City, none for Rotherham, but 26 balls and connected with just 4 of them at a completion rate of 15%. Rotherham connected with 2 of their 9 at 22%. City ended up having just more dribbles than what Rotherham did. Rotherham ended up attempting 12, City attempted 14, both at 50% there, so both quite similar with the dribbles. City had more corners, Rotherham had more offside, City made more recoveries, Rotherham ended up having more tackles. I imagine they're going to dominate the defensive stats here. Yeah, more interceptions, more blocks, more clearances, more headed clearances, and aerial duels. Man City and Rotherham both attempted 32, Rotherham dealt with 15, City with 17, so in the air, not too bad from Manchester City, but all in all, a pretty decent performance there from us, I thought. We could take plenty of confidence going forward, and like I said, Rotherham don't want to be too down and out. This isn't going to decide their season. They can take plenty of confidence from this game going forward and say, and you know, and be able to say that they've played at the Etihad Stadium, they've played Manchester City, and the players can now focus on the next game. And if they can win the next game, then they can move on from there and use it as a big learning curve. But yeah, you know, a big honour to have Rotherham at the Etihad Stadium. I've enjoyed the game today, and they had a go, and I appreciate that they've had well, not a proper go, but they've had a decent effort at us. Face themselves very unlucky. You see a big gulfing difference in quality here. I've seen many Championship teams come to the Etihad. I've seen us disrespect them, so we haven't disrespected Rotherham today. We're taking them very serious, put a serious squad out, and we've got a serious result for our reward. But there we go. Better luck for Rotherham for the rest of the season. For us, nice to see De Bruyne, 65 plus minutes in this game, recovering. We won't see him at full fitness probably for another 3 or 4 weeks or so, apparently. Nice to see Philip Sandler making his debut, slotting in at defensive midfield. It was nice to see Foden start. It was nice to see him score his first goal at Etihad too, making his dream come true, scoring his first home goal for his boyhood club too. And for me, we march on to Burton Albion now on Wednesday for this big game. Burton played Rochdale in League One away from home. They sent out a statement winning 4-0 saying, Manchester City, we're not scared to come and play you and attack you and score goals. We've just sent our statement out to them saying that Rotherham, who's in a higher division than you, we've just beaten them 7-0 on our own patch. We're near enough the same team. Bring it on. So looking forward to that. So we'll have a preview for that game up. That'll be up tomorrow morning, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, press the red button, and make sure you press the bell and put your push notifications on if you're interested in my football content and Manchester City content too. There we go. Leave a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Check out my social media links in the description below, and I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC signing out. Into the 4th round draw tomorrow night just before the Wolves versus Liverpool game, so stay tuned for that. I'll post on Twitter who we're playing and reaction on there, so I'll see you then. So it's with JSGC. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.